My name's Tabitha Dominguez. I'm 49 years old and I work at Medina Regional Hospital as a family nurse practitioner there. I won, 5 state events, state medals. I have 5 gold medals. I won my junior and senior year. I won the 800 and the mile. So won it my junior, repeated them again and won them again my senior year. And then my senior year in cross country, I did win state in that event as well. So overall, I have 5 state medals. Mr. Maldron was my middle school math teacher, and he went to go see one of my meets that we had, and I remember as I was running, when I ran that meet, remember winning that race, the mile race, and I ran like a 6:02, somewhere around there. But the next thing I knew is Mr. Moduling had my picture, a picture of me finishing that race behind him on a corkboard. And I always asked him, why do you have that photo? Why is the picture there? And he said, well, I saw you run and I know you're gonna do tremendous things with your running. I know you're gonna be a champion. Cindy Ali, I always remember her. She was the band teacher, and I always remember learning to play my flute, but I always remember how I grew up learning to play my instrument and having great teachers then. And to this day, I still play my flute. I was not a history buff and I never could get through history. And I thought I could get through history easily and I didn't. So yeah, I struggled with history. It took falling down by not passing history my sophomore year. So I had to retake it and make sure I pass to be able to run. So, but obviously all the teachers there really helped me through getting through. Coach Riddell was one of them. He got us through history. Rosemary was one who guided me. She was my Spanish teacher and she knew that I needed to push through because I did struggle in school. I wasn't a straight A student, I wasn't at all. And she pushed me through and knew that I was gonna become more than just my running career. She knew I would become more than that. I'm Tabitha Dominguez and Hondo teachers have equipped me for my future.
I'm Arturo Dominguez Jr., also known as Tootie Dominguez. I just turned 57 years old a couple weeks ago, and I'm the owner of the restaurant Azteca here in downtown Hondo. What I liked most about Hondo ISD was a small town community environment. It allowed us to participate in a lot of different activities. The friendships you made were your hometown friends. They're not kids that are moving in and out like some of the big cities. They're all locals, kids that you went to, a lot of them that we went to kindergarten with, you grew up with, and we went the whole 12, 14 years, whatever it was, we all went together, and we all finished together. I think we absorbed the entire spectrum of all the teachers around us, and they knew me, and they all helped me along the way. So I think it was like a community effort. My senior year, we played in the quarterfinals. At that time, I don't think anybody had gotten that far in over 20 years. We had a very successful athletic program, and it led to the Hondo winning tradition. We kept going. So, like I said, my favorite parts were on the athletic side. So, when I was getting ready to decide where to go to school, to college. Actually, one of the teachers told me I was planning to go to the University of Texas at Austin, and one of the instructors told me, I don't know if you're going to make it there. It's a tough school. And actually that motivated me more. I was able to go to University of Texas at Austin, and my old high school classmate actually ended up going to UT with me. We ended up rooming together, and I was able to get through most of the stuff, but actually he actually got me through my calculus classes, my advanced math classes. Well, before I graduated from the University of Texas, I got recruited to work for the federal government in Washington. That job took me overseas. It took me to, I spent about 15 years. I spent time in Europe. I spent time in Latin America. And when you have kids, it changes your perspective on life. I said, you know, I want to raise them in a community. I want where I can see them grow up, where I can see them. I had great experiences at Hondo High School, and I want my kids to have those experiences too, where I can watch them, where I can go out and take a break and go watch them. They're getting an award at school. I want to be able to do that. So my wife and I made the tough decision to resign from my federal position, and we moved back to Hondo. And luckily, I had part ownership in this establishment with my folks who established it several years before. Many of the teachers out there know my kids. They all grew up. I had a third one that was born here in Hondo, Nicole, and they're all doing well. Andrea went to Southwestern University in Georgetown. She used her education. She got here at Hondo High School. My son Brian graduated from Texas A&M. He's now working also. And my daughter is about to graduate next May with a nursing degree from Texas Tech. And a lot of that is because of what they were able to do here at Hondo High School and the education they received here at Hondo High School. I'm Arturo Dominguez, and Hondo ISD teachers prepared me for the future.
Hi, I'm Tracy.
And I'm Stacy,
And we're twins, and we are both 43. I'm a dentist here at Downtown Dental.
and I'm a pharmacist at Walmart Pharmacy in Hondo.
We were both at Hondo ISD from first grade to seniors in high school.
And we graduated in 1996.
Cindy Jones and Miss Lindeberg, those were huge inspirations in the way we, I guess, going through our career in science.
Right, the background we had was amazing. We couldn't have done it without that, for sure. Well, Miss Jones, just math. You know, she started us, we had her in 8th grade, and then we just continued all the way through. And she just was, I guess she really had confidence in us that we could do well. And if we needed help, she was always there to help. But she was a great inspiration for us.
Encouraging, and probably tried to motivate me more than I could have been motivated. I mean, I wasn't a very good student, so. But I obviously learned and got through college and pharmacy school with that fundamental background. Mr. Welch was very, very encouraging, and kind of life after high school.
He went to A&M and he judged horses there, and I did too when I went to A&M. So he encouraged that, you know, aspect, that there's more out there than just, say, I guess, books, you know. We had to speak in front of judges constantly, and that was huge for us. Don't you think?
Yes, yeah,
because
just
we were two always. So on our own was difficult.
Teachers in Hondo ISD prepared us for successful science backgrounds, career in dentistry and pharmacy, because of our strong fundamentals we learned there. The relationships you form, especially with some of those teachers and coaches that encourage you and push you, even though you may not be a professional band, you know, or become a band director or volleyball coach or anything like that. We didn't do those things, but that doesn't mean they didn't influence our life.
Right.
And they did.
And so you had teachers pouring into your life, not only just your school and studies, but into your life.
Mr. Ainsley at one point was an ag teacher, and he basically, you know, maybe I was possibly hanging out with some wrong people, and he kind of just reminded me, hey, that's not where you need to be. You need to make better choices. I'm Tracy Williams.
And I'm Stacy Jacobs.
And Hondo ISD prepared us for our future.
Hello, I'm Ernie Tapia, and I'm 39 years old. I'm a teacher and a coach here at Hondo Independent School District.
Hello, I'm Tracy Tapia. I'm 36 years old, and I'm the principal here at Wolves Intermediate. I've been a Hondo ISD student starting in kindergarten all the way through 12th grade year and graduated in 2002.
I was a student in Hondo Independent School District since kindergarten all the way through my senior year and graduated in 2001. Being part of Hondo, one of the most important parts that I feel is important about this community is that when someone struggles like myself, where parents aren't around and no one's home to help you study, no one helps there to help you do your homework and take that extra step whenever you're stuck, My sixth grade math teacher, Mrs. Sadoff, was a big part of making me who I was. I entered her classroom in sixth grade. She pulled me to the side one time, and I'll never forget. It's like it was yesterday. She told me, and she asked me, she's like, Ernie, I want you to know that you're the only person in this whole entire grade that actually got 100 on this assessment. And I was very shocked. I was a kid who had never been praised. I was a kid who had never had very much responsibility, that never had any guidance. And when she acknowledged that opportunity, she took that opportunity and acknowledged my efforts and my accomplishment, that's the person who made me want to become a math teacher.
My first grade teacher, Mrs. Pat Roche, is my #1 inspiration. I remember her having a conversation with me because she caught me cheating on a math test using a calculator. And I can remember her sitting down with me and telling me that you are a better person than that, just helping me guide myself through life. It was one of the very first conversations I had ever had to where someone had told me, you can be better and this is how you can be better.
As a child, when we were growing up, we had curtains on every door that wasn't an essential door, like my parents' bedroom. That was pretty much the only one that had a door and then going out. And I'll never forget the time whenever I learned my first lesson as a young child. I was going into 7th grade. I had just started playing football, and I was staying with one of my best friend's house named Zach. And his sister was coming in from cheer practice, and I was just in the bathroom, using the bathroom, and she walks in and she's like, what are you doing? You're supposed to close the door. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know, and she just walked out. But she and that family taught me that you have to be responsible for your actions by doing what you're supposed to do, and understanding that there's more to the world than just what I've known or what I've been exposed to. So what does sports mean to me? What does sports mean to this community? It allows people to go into homes and environments that they're not accustomed to, and it allows them to see that there is a different world that you don't know until you're exposed to it and want to be part of it, and not to be complacent with where you are and not to be a victim to your environment.
So a struggle that I went through at a young age of 16 was that my father had passed away. He was my primary parent, and so it was a traumatic experience, but through support and love and care from different folks here in our community, especially Miss Prestige, who was a childhood friend's mother and also an assistant principal, taught me things that it's okay, it's a memory now, it's time to move forward, keep on pushing. And it's people like that help us build who we are today.
The kids that I'm trying to pay this for, which is a big reason for coming back to Hondo. And I feel like the kids that are staying in Hondo need to have been impacted in a way so they can be productive citizens and help our campuses and our school and our community go forward and be at a better position than it was when they got here. Especially with the fact that we have kids in this environment and community. We want what's best for them, which is a big part of coming home, is getting to pay all that love, all that attention, we're not going to judge you based off what you look like, paying that forward to the kids of this community. And that's what Hondo means to me, and that's why I'm here. And when people say, why did you come back? I say, because I owe this place in my world. I owe them my life. I really do.
Hi, I'm Jason R. I'm 36 years old, and I'm the top store leader at Hondo ISD. I started first grade at Meyer Elementary in 1991. From there, I went through all the grades and graduated in 2003. As far as the subjects go, I was always kind of like a nerd, so I kind of worked through those pretty easily. I had great teachers that kind of helped me along the way. Really, once I got into athletics, that really kind of changed the tone. In '97, I got into track and field and started, with a different social circle. Then in the fall of my 8th grade year, we started football, basketball, the whole works, and carried that through my high school career. And that's really whenever I started working well with others and playing on the team and just being part of something more. And it really gave you a sense of pride and ownership in the school and in the community. And I knew that I wanted to be part of that. I was always real close with the coaches. They were pretty interesting. We had coaches like Coach McCollum, Coach Holt, Coach Divers, Coach Rushing. They all had something to offer in a different way. Really kind of tailored it. When I start thinking about teachers, I think of teachers like our science teacher, Miss Wilson. She did a really good job kind of getting us interested in the subjects and showing us how fun things can be. I remember being in Spanish too, thinking to myself, like, when am I ever going to need Spanish? Then fast forward, as I graduate, move on into my career, I ended up in Laredo, of all places, thinking about how Spanish would really come in handy and make my job a little bit easier. The role is very critical. You know, you might help a student find that athletics that help drive them forward, or help them find a subject that they really excel in, and that's the biggest payoff of all. Hi, I'm Jason R., and Hondo teachers prepared me for my future.
Hi, my name is Crystal Mora. I work for Hondo National Bank and I am 35 years old. I attended Hondo Independent School District, grades kindergarten through 12, graduated the year of 2004. My mother passed. It was a very difficult time, but I had to help my father raise my sister. At that time I was attending college. I completed my first semester. Then I made the decision not to continue. I was having a very hard time coping with it due to the fact that I was the one making all the decisions. Having to raise her made me mature at a very, very young age. Mr. Herrera, Carlos was his name. And I believe that's where some of my leadership came from. He was one that I could say helped me to where I have become a leader. I was currently working for HEB at that time, which I succeeded very well. I started off as a sacker. It only lasted maybe about 3 months. I immediately was promoted to a cashier. That probably lasted maybe not even a year. They promoted me to the business center. I started working with SAT Learning Center with Lori Gillum. At that time, I was teaching a class of 2-year-olds, Shanna Reynolds. She approached me and said, "We're hiring at the bank. If you're interested, I'll bring you an application." I said yes. Bigger and better opportunities. Did the interview. Within the hour or two, I got the phone call that I was hired. So from then on, I have worked for Hondo National Bank. Very pleased, very, very pleased and satisfied with how they've treated me. About 4 years ago, I was offered the position for operations officer. I currently run the teller line and the new accounts department. I try my best. I give it my all every day I arrive here. I am Crystal Mora, and Hondo Independent School District teachers prepared me for my future.
My name is Nelson Royce. I'm 38 years old and I work at Royce Farm and Royce Ag Services.
I'm Mark Royce. I'm 48 years old and I'm a managing partner of Royce Grain.
I was not a good reader. Was always pretty good in math, but reading, I never was good at it. Had several that helped me. Mrs. Hass in the reading lab, and Mrs. Fawn in 3rd grade was my teacher. She helped a lot.
Yeah. I also struggled with reading in English. I know in kindergarten I had Ms. Braden. The funny thing about it, I had her first year that she was a teacher, and my younger daughter Cambry had her last year before she retired as a kindergarten teacher. So I thought that was really neat.
Same thing for me. I had Mrs. Mummy as a 1st grade teacher, and my daughter had her last year as a 1st grade teacher. So that was really neat, kind of multi-generational.
I think it was Mr. Welch when I was in ag.
Yep, that's what I was thinking of.
He would kind of, when we were doing judging and all that, he said, this isn't all about doing judging. This is trying to teach you to be, good young men and be able to be successful in life.
And I think he was also the one that said, they'll never know how much you know until they know how much you care.
They kind of showed us that, you give everybody a chance, even though they can't do that, but you just got to give everybody a chance, at least a chance to try something. And a lot of times they'll surprise you. I've learned that with employees. Like you just kind of let them try something. You kind of like, well, I guess they can do it, but nobody's ever given them a shot.
James Hodges, who's one of the ag teachers at the time, he put me on a team that I knew nothing about, and taught me how to do it. And he said, "See, you can do anything you want." And he also encouraged me to pursue what I really loved. He said, "You can do anything, but you should do what you love." And so that's what led me to a degree in agronomy to help area farmers do a better job.
I guess by the time I was a senior, I guess I realized just taking the different classes in high school, and I guess it made me know that I wanted to go and study more of the business aspect of it. I always knew I wanted to come back. I just felt like I needed to go to learn more, and so it kind of showed me I needed to do that, get more understanding of more of the business side of it, and so I guess that's kind of happened my senior year.
I'm Nelson Royce.
I'm Mark Royce.
And Hondo teachers prepared us for our future.
So my name is Brian Valenzuela. I am 42 years old, and I am the Chief of Police for the City of Hondo. I grew up with a single parent. My mom, I think my mom is one of my biggest inspirations moving me forward. That school was one of the most important things that you would want to accomplish. Everybody knew my goals, my dreams to be a police officer, even in school. And in order for me to be able to complete that and accomplish that school would be one of the biggest first accomplishments that needed to be accomplished moving forward. Her name was Miss Prestige, Brenda Prestige. You know, she would always push me. You know, at the beginning I felt that there was something there as far as her trying to get me to quit. But in reality, you know, it seemed like it was just all motivation, push. You know, you want to get there, you'll get there. You know, you'll accomplish your goals in life. Everybody's goal was to motivate you and push you to accomplish those goals. You know, get you to be the best that you possibly can. You know, it's not one where you're failed, you're done. It was like, you know, you failed, let's go back, let's redo it, and let's focus on what it is, and let's get you through it. I mean, don't get me wrong, you know, school was always an important thing. You know, did I want to go to school? Probably not. In order for you to get to where you want to be, you got to start from here and ensure that you accomplish this, because then once that's done, you're moving on to the next chapter of your life, which is going to be, okay, I'm done with the part that gets me to where I need to be. Now I need to start a new chapter and accomplish that to get to where I need to be. So it was a good experience, but you know, I felt that I couldn't have done it without the school. I mean, the school is what set me up for success.
Hello, I'm Vincent Moreno. This is my brother Rick Dylan Moreno, and this is my father Rick Moreno, and we run and own Moreno's 24-hour towing. My experience at Hondo ISD was great. The teachers were amazing. They taught me so many things that I still use to this day, and I appreciate every one of them.
Coach Jose Martinez, he got onto you if you weren't trying hard enough. So he pushed us to our limit. Never stopped pushing, so it made us strive for greatness.
My favorite thing about Hondo ISD is I felt welcome there from the beginning, and I made friends that I still talk to this day, teachers, coaches that I still talk to this day, and I can ask any one of them for advice if I need to.
I had an art teacher for several years in junior high, and then he ended up being my art teacher in high school too, with Mr. Bergman, John Bergman. He long retired from now, but just a good guy, all-around guy. And you know, if we had any extra work, he'd let us go into his room, and you could do it. You know, it didn't have to be his work. You'd be any extra work if you thought you were, you know, falling behind. He'd let you come into his room and do it. So that stuck out of my mind a lot. Athletic director, his name was Dan Schreiber. I believe I was a sophomore that year, and every 2 days, you know, first day of football practice, he was out there, and everybody was sweating and, you know, trying to get back in shape, and he would say, "It's a great day to be alive in Hondo, America." That's what he's just saying. He kept saying that over and over, so we got tired of hearing him.
My name's Dylan Moreno.
I'm Vincent Moreno.
And I'm Rick Moreno.
And Hondo ISD teachers prepared us for our future.
My name is Andrea Dehart. I'm a registered nurse at Medina Regional Hospital, and I'm 38 years old. I was at Hondo ISD from kindergarten to senior, aged 5 to 17. Graduated in 2001. I've never really enjoyed reading, but Mrs. Wright made reading fun for me. And I don't know why or how she did it, but she actually made it fun, and just really enjoyed her class the way she did it. My worst subject was probably pre-cal. Could not do it, and that was with Mrs. Jones. But that was also 5th period after lunch, so that was kind of difficult. Mr. Perkins, he helped me out a lot through a lot of my struggles. And I think he impacted me. I think the counselors are very important to go talk to. If you're struggling with any part of your life, I think they're very important to go talk to. And he definitely impacted my life. the way he talked to me, the way he helped me through it. I think he was the most. I was in a program called Hope, and I don't know if there's a program like that now, but it took us to like the medical scenery and just different aspects. We went to BAMC, and it was a group about 6 of us, and we learned some of the medical stuff. And it was another extracurricular activity that I had done, and I think that really prepared me on wanting to be a nurse. And you got to learn a lot of stuff. So if you were interested in the medical field, you would do that. And that was so cool. Mom always said, you don't want to be a nurse because you're going to get burned out. So I went ahead and I tried to be a teacher. I got a lot of school paperwork and everything from Mrs. Wells, Valerie Wells. And I would help her grade paperwork and I would do all that. And then all of a sudden, it's like, I don't want to be a teacher. I want to be a nurse instead. And so right after, I went to college and then went to nursing school and just started right here after I graduated. So I would do a lot of volunteer work. When I was in high school, I would do a lot of volunteer work in like medical records and stuff and kind of get my foot in the door. I'm Andy Dehart, and Hondo teachers prepared me for my future.
My name's Taylor Luce, and I'm 29 years old.
My name's Tyler Luce, I'm 32 years old, and we run and operate Silver Creek in Hondo. So in high school, I struggled with calculus. Cindy Jones was there to help me out. It really helped me out to further my career in education because I ended up going into mechanical engineering, and the foundation that she helped me build in calculus was really instrumental in that.
I struggled in math as a whole all the way through, and it was Miss Ross who actually painted it in a way that I understood it and set the foundation to where I could continue struggling, but I could struggle gracefully through by somewhat knowing what I was doing. I remember it was probably 7th or 8th grade, and I was going through a health issue. I was diagnosed with celiac, but I was still struggling and pretty much sick all the time. And it was Coach Pettis was always a welcoming, person to visit with, and always tended to me and made sure I was okay, but had the perfect balance of pushing me, but also keeping in mind what I was going through.
It was 1st grade with Miss Mummy. She told me not to walk with scissors pointing up or I'd stab my eye out, so I thought about that one for years afterwards. And then the other one, a little more serious, with Miss Wright, we did a project where we had to discuss what we wanted our future career to be. And that was the first time I really thought about what I wanted to do, and I picked entrepreneur and did a presentation on it. And in that presentation, there was some data that we looked up, and it said that only 10% of small businesses last past their first year. And I looked at that, and kind of when we started this, knowing that 90% of all businesses failed, knowing it's something we had to be serious about and really focus on while we were getting started. So that thing kind of stuck with me for the past 15, 20 years since we did that project.
My name's Taylor Luce.
And my name's Tyler Luce.
And Hondo teachers prepared us for our future.
I'm Chris Almanza, I'm 28, and I work for Parker's Building Supply. So I went to Hondo ISD from 6th grade till I graduated in 2012. I struggled in math, and Mr. Graff showed me easy tricks. The way he taught me on math is don't overthink it. You can make it fun, to be honest. He never made it seem like it was just his job. I mean, just, oh, it's my job to help you. He actually showed that he cared about your future, pretty much. Ms. Ainsley. Ms. Ainsley helped me a lot because she helps with all the subjects, and she never turned her head on me. If I needed help, she was quick to help me. I'm using math with the job I'm doing because you have to calculate, like when you're building a house, it's a lot of measuring. It's a lot of numbers. You have to use your weight, how to measure weight, how to learn the volume on certain things. So I started working here when I was 18. I've been here for 9 years. I was a yard man, and then I turned to a foreman. you help a lot of people here. That's what I really like to do. Now I'm assistant manager. I went from a yard man to a foreman, and now I'm assistant manager. I set goals when I first started here. I really want to run the store eventually. So setting goals helped me, because if you don't have a goal set, then you're just pretty much working for nothing. I see it like that. In school, it was kind of hard for me to learn on certain subjects, but by setting goals, I achieved them. If you learn something and you want to teach someone else, that's a good feeling. That's a real good feeling. And that's what teachers pretty much taught me, is that if something you learn makes your life better, then pass it on.
Hey brother, hey sister, I'll never give up on you. Hey Mrs., hey mister, I'll see this all the way through. No matter how far the sun and the moon, I'll never give up on you. Down when you're lonely, I'll pull you up. Life leaves you heavy when the going gets tough. I'll be your shoulder, together we'll run. Up from the bottom, yeah, we'll rise above. Hey brother, hey sister, I'll never give up on you. Hey Mrs., hey mister, I'll see this all the way through. No matter how far the sun and the moon, I'll never give up on you. Sister, I'll never give up on you. Hey Mrs., hey mister, I'll see this all the way through. No matter how far, for the gold and the blue, I'll never give up on you.